Hey, what is up guys? So it was officially announced that we are getting a Spider-Man game from Insomniac Games, of course exclusive to the Sony platform that is the PlayStation 4. Now, of course, with that, I am going to do a quick breakdown of the trailer, talk about how I feel about some of the things going on in it, and what I think could be, hinting at, and what I think is coming down the road. Now, of course, going right into this, let's just get right into the beginning of the trailer. So if you are a Spider-Man fan, you obviously know that his home setting is going to be New York City, and this is probably one of the most detailed New York cities you will find pretty much anywhere. I mean, just looking at the skyline, right there as far as the eye can see, you can see that the draw distance is pretty impressive, and everything looks pretty faithfully recreated. If you guys have ever been in New York City, it's very cramped, it looks very dingy, it looks pretty damn accurate. You look in the back and you can even see a crane as far back as they're really showing in this photo, so really paying attention to detail. And if you guys have ever been in New York City, there is construction literally on every block, so it's good to see that. Of course, quickly right here, Insomniac Games, the makers of this game, if you guys know what they have made, you should probably get excited because they made some of my favorite games since I was a little kid, so definitely excited by them being attached to this. Now, obviously, how I talked about a New York that seems faithful, looking at this, you're going to see a ton of cars everywhere, just lining the streets. This is clearly a one-way. In New York, if you guys don't know, it's one-way, both a one-way. Like, they have so many one-way streets, you can easily get confused. And obviously, right here, you see a ton of cabs. Once again, very accurate representation. You see a ton of pedestrians on the side, so this is telling you that they are going to be able to render a whole lot of people to truly finally make you feel like you are in a living, breathing New York, which is something that every Spider-Man game today has actually missed. Even, Spider-Man 2, you can only draw like 6-7 people on screen at once. There was never a lot going on. Now, of course, first up here is the Marvel logo, which is going to lead us into the reveal of the suit and what it looks like. Now, while looking at this, you can obviously tell there are quite a few amalgamation and inputs from different suits we've seen. Most prominent, obviously, you are going to notice the new suit that is, of course, used in the Avengers. Very loosely in here, though. You can see just some of the trimming that is blue, the belt, and some of the red going down the arm. And most obviously would be the eyes, which are fully mechanical, obviously giving them that, Spidey sense ability to kind of focus it in. Some of the other aspects, if you look around the arms, you're going to see white. The web shooter quite clearly prominently built on there. It is black. It looks like that might even be some sort of just design that is built into it. It's actually coming from underneath, so the actual, web belt isn't fully around his wrists. You look once again at the suit, you can tell that it's very patterned and everything. Everything just kind of has a very natural look. Rubber around the shoulders, which gives it that more armored Marvel Cinematic Universe feel, which, once again, everything kind of got to stay in sync with one another. And then a shot of him kind of shooting his web off the swing, and you get another look at his eye on the underarm, some of the layering and patterns that they're really using on there, looking very, very impressive. And next up, obviously, as he swings off, we can see giant spider that's white on the back, mimicking the one that is up in the front. But I want you to take notice of what is happening here. The way he is swinging, clearly the ropes are actually attaching to the buildings, thus giving us, once again, a full physics system, which some games, ever since Spider-Man 2 introduced it, try to mimic it and have not met that actual level of precision, or they just make you swing from the sky. So this one, very amazing, pun intended, I guess, on that one, and it looks like it's going to be super fluid. Okay, next up in that same scene, a couple frames later, this is going to be, I think, our first hint as to what the story is. Right here as he's swinging, you can see right there the billboard says Osborn. If you pay close enough attention, it says Osborn for mayor. Now, which Osborn this is, we don't really know. I am inclined to believe it's going to be Norman Osborn, who is, of course, the Green Goblin. I don't think it's Harry Osborn, or that would be way far-flung in the future. Or it's maybe a different take on the mythos, but I'm definitely sticking with Norman Osborn for this one. Next up, how I talked about them kind of paying respects to some of the suits that came before. Looking right here at the bottom, and you can look at the bottom of the shoes, you can tell the influence from the Amazing Spider-Man 1. Obviously using realistic, world attributes, things out there, kind of like the shoes and everything that's kind of out there, kind of just paying tribute to that in a small, subtle way, but also giving you something that a kid could make a suit. Next up, a scene right here of him kind of jumping through what seems to be a diner from one side to the other. It's some sort of coffee club, breakfast place, dinner place, lunch, whatever it is. Not really an indicator of this is every building or if this is a cutscene. I'm going to say this is probably a cutscene or one of those preset things, kind of like they did in Assassin's Creed 3, where, Connor can run through certain windows and it triggers a certain, animation. I just don't think you're going to be able to enter all these buildings because that is currently not available on these consoles. Now, this seems to be our first look at whoever the enemies might be. Now, I can't seem to get anything from who these guys might be, except that they are some sort of a goblin cult, and I'm guessing these are some sort of goblin masks that they could be wearing. Now, obviously not green, so if it's not, Norman Osborn, maybe it could be like, Demi-Goblin or one of those other, various goblins, or maybe it's just their own creation that they're using in here. And now a few more looks at the suit and some of the detailing. Obviously, you can tell the different patterning they're using from the arms to the shoulders to the actual legs. The eyes quite clearly based on the most recent incarnation that we're seeing, of course, in the movie. So a lot of influence, once again, going on in here. You can see that he's taken down a criminal at some, points throughout this trailer. It all seems to be taken from the same version. So if this is some sort of special or finishing moves, that's what I'm guessing they're there for. And finally, a look at the logo with, of course, the PlayStation 4 reveal, confirming that it is, in fact, an exclusive. So that's pretty much everything I've gotten from this little trailer. If there's anything more, I'll come back with an update video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this breakdown. So let me know your thoughts down below, and what do you guys think?